Hello again, all you YouTube fans, and all you die-hard, creepy doll man fans from around the world. It is August the 24th of 2018. Time is now 3:02 a.m. We go back to a new mystery and puzzles that are still left unsolved in this curse, haunted, and possessed dolls. Alright, if a lot of you may not recognize me, I'm your host for this show, for this curse, haunted, and possessed dolls. I'm your host, the real creepy doll man. I'm back to bring you a whole new chapter for this ordeal in this curse, haunted, and possessed dolls. Today's episode is called Witch Dolls. This episode will be dedicated to all you warlocks and witches out there. But the most important, this episode will be dedicated to somebody that I knew very young. A young man who died at a young age. We dedicate this episode to Brandon Young, who died. He was killed by his best friend and murdered in cold blood. Shot and killed and died at the age of 14 years old. This young man lost his life on August the 31st of 1995, or it was August the 31st of 1996. This episode is dedicated to Brandon Young. Now, Brandon Young's family, I'm going to keep their names from the ordeal, to keep it secretly from that of the accellent who killed him. And we'll keep the accellent's name out so that the family members who are surviving family members will not be hurt or harmed due to this ordeal. I dedicate this episode to Brandon Young now. Okay, get back into this ordeal. To all you witches out there who likes witches. But how is it witch dolls are tied in with curse, haunted, and possessed dolls? As you know, that the first witches came around in the early days. And when I mean the early days, they came around at least in the 1500,000 BC or 1500 million BC, when the first people were called healers, or actually the real witches of the day. Modern witches today evolve around the years. They go from sorcerer to sorceress, from warlocks to warlocks to wizards, and also witches themselves in female ordeal. From male to female, they have a long line of history. They go back as far as the origins go. And some come from New England and also France, Germany, and all around. But the main ordeal here in the U.S., they had the Salem trials back in the early days in Massachusetts. And 1686 or 1689, the first trials began in January, and it kept going throughout the years. Finally, witches won the ordeal, meaning practicing Wicca. Their rights of practice didn't come to about 2000 or so. To 2000 or 2001, where they got their rights to preach their preaching on doing Wicca and witchcraft. Doesn't matter the color, my friends. Either gray, black, white, green, or even red is a new ordeal. But other ordeal in witches, what colors they go by goes by what they practice and preach. Meaning what ordeal tribe they come from and color, meaning it has a higher level in witchcraft. I stand here alone to ask this question: does witches actually use witch dolls for revenge and also to put curses on those who actually turn on them? Early days, it is possible that the early witches have done this, but there is no proven evidence unless you look it up. There are some that use voodoo dolls, but it comes a long way. What happens to saying when a witch dies, he or she, do they actually go to heaven? Or is it a false ordeal to say they cannot go to heaven due to what the Bible says and in Revelations about witches? So does all witches go to hell, or do they stay earthbound and then tied to items like dolls or even to jewelry, music boxes? And do they tie to whatnots? Do they tie to actually mirrors or some type of antique that they favor at their death? Nobody truly knows. But what happens if they do would be a shocker. Is there evidence out there to support these claims that witches are tied to items today? Meaning, are they tied to a doll or any other object? No one truly knows. The only ones who will know would actually be witches themselves, who actually practice the arts of magic to know. And scientific fact that they actually truly still exist after they pass on within this world. Well, you have to find out. The only way to find out, you have to look that up, my friend. Google search it, or look it up the hard way by going to the library and find it at your public library. Now, before I close this and finale, I'm going to say this. Please subscribe today to see further new episodes to come from The Real Creepy Doll Man. And please view all my old and new episodes, because there will be a lot of new episodes to come. Ones that you have never seen yet and have not seen until now. There will be a lot of new episodes and a lot of new twists, so keep watching for new things to come. And I'm your host, The Real Creepy Doll Man, saying to all the fans, all the YouTube fans and all the diehard Real Creepy Doll Man fans, goodbye, and God bless you all.